All right, we're back. Sorry about the long break. We had to make sure everything was up to snuff. Hey, cool, I can hear myself. Anyways, that's fixed.
There you go. There we go. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is anybody else hearing that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I was hearing that before. I figured he'd fix it when we got back in.
Yeah. Still ironing. It takes some time to get used to new stuff. Anyways, why don't we do that last scene with the person in the middle of the street? The last little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of pick up on the last minute. So yeah, basically he said to you, who are you? What are you doing here? Oh, the barriers hurt your friend. He has to turn you, like he's going. It is an inevitability that he will go no further. It wasn't straight up like I'm gonna make him go away, but it wasn't also like it's smart. He wasn't suggesting it. He was merely observing that Berg will go no further. Right. and said that like the rest of you can walk around, but like it's not like you don't have an appointment with the wizards, so you can't just go up there. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? He basically he's got his arms folded and he's like standing in the road.
And he also said that we could use, as long as we don't destroy anything or try to hurt anybody, we can stay in one of these buildings or whatever.
Well, he didn't think you could stay in the buildings. He just said you're free to come and go as you like, but like none of these are hospitals or homes. Like you can't just even invited you to just walk into someone's house and have a nap.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then when he
can't
said,
control
like,
you walk around as you like.
When I asked if they were going to do anything or he was just warning us or whatever, I think my response to that was just like he cannot continue. And my response was, well, obviously, you don't know him very well.
Right.
And, well, I suppose the last question I would have is there a place where we could lie our friend down and heal him up for his journey forward or his journey back?
He gestures around him and says, there is plenty of earth and grass upon which you might lie.
But no place but an inn where there are beds that we might pay for.
He shakes his head and says, this is no town. Our places are sacred. You are outsiders. And he turns and he looks at the mountain, which you can see looming darkly behind you, or behind him, I guess. And he says, you may find rest at the seclusium, but your friend, and he looks at Berg and he shakes his head, I think he will go no further.
You choose to stay here. Is that correct?
We have no other home.
Maybe I should rephrase that. Could you leave if you wanted to?
We are slaves no longer. The Savior sought to that.
So if you wanted to leave this place, this island of sorts, you could. You would be allowed to.
He nods.
What does this Savior give you that keeps you here?
The Savior broke our bonds and gave us place to study and meditate.
What do you study?
He grins slightly and says, everything.
Do you study the potencies?
He shakes his head. He says, the unbroken rings are not ours to know. We have only the stories left behind by the first incarnation.
So you say you were once slaves?
He nods.
Who enslaved you?
He scowls slightly and says, this knowledge is not for outsiders.
Oh God, am I here?
Yeah?
Yes.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked the button on my mouse.
Sorry, that's my dog is barking at the mailman or something.
Oh, sorry. I'm not gonna touch my mouse.
So
I'm good.
Sully and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be sitting in a room quietly and just shout, "Oh God, am I here?" All of a sudden out of nowhere. See how it goes. It's in the grocery store. So Ramus, Sully, and Berg, what are you doing while Kalimat is talking with this old man?
I mean, I was probably like carrying Berg at least towards one of the buildings. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you just carry him towards one of these nearby buildings.
Yeah. At least that was my intent. I don't know if we get stopped or if.
Nope.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
You were saying I sounded weird. I don't know if I still do. But
That's fine. I already fixed it. Ignore
fix
chat.
it? Okay, cool.
Ramus, where are you? Where are you while this is happening?
I think I'm walking around and just looking inside windows and doors to see what I can see inside the buildings. Anything that catches my eye is interesting.
So Ramus, maybe you find yourself standing outside one of these buildings, and there's no weather here, so these buildings aren't like built to shelter people. This building is it's an octagon-shaped platform with columns, simple stone columns at each corner, supporting a triangular, like a pyramidal roof. And within, it appears that someone is receiving a lesson. There is a younger one of these creatures. He has he's wearing a simple kind of like loincloth, and he's sitting with his legs folded under him. And he has his head is like shaved on both sides, and he has this long white ponytail braided behind him. And he's sitting listening to a woman who is walking back and forth in front of him talking. And she's got an orb floating over her hand. And as she speaks, the orb is first a ball of fire, and then she twists it and it becomes a floating ball of water, and then stone kind of clustered around itself, and it's shifting through these elements. And she's speaking to him in a language you don't understand, and he's like nodding and listening. And then she holds the sphere out to him, and he reaches out with both hands, and she passes it to him, and it becomes a ball of this sort of semi-fluid star stuff that you see all around the island. So it's this ball of sort of gelatinous stuff, and he's staring at it, and you see it. You know, there's flickers of fire inside of it, bits of rock, and he's concentrating on like making it take shape. And she's talking to him and observing his progress while this is happening. So that's maybe like a scene that we see through Ramus, and you just walk. They either don't notice you or don't care.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm fascinated by this, and I'm watching as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to observe and see what's going on.
So, Sully, what do you? I think you're a little slower. So you've just kind of come up behind Kalimat as he's having this conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still carrying Berg into. Are the buildings empty? Is that what's inside this building? Is that what we just?
No, they're all different buildings, but you're in like a monastery. There's no like you're not gonna be able to walk in and be like, here, lie down on this. There's no inn. It's not here for you. You're intruders in this space. I mean, so I think the two of you walk up. The two of you walk up to the nearest building to you. You go off in a different direction from Ramus.
Yeah.
And this building is an opened. There's a wall around it, but no roof. The wall's doors. It has a door on the front, and they're open. And so you look in, and it's a yard, and there are standing wooden, like dummies, and about a half dozen of these creatures, men and women, dressed in like martial arts. Like outfits, basically, like sleeveless kind of tunics and like short pants and sandals, and they're performing some kind of martial arts drills, striking at these dummies as a pair of other entities give them instruction and like correct their form.
Okay. I mean, I think we will, even if it's a sign of intruding. I'm not going to know that right off the bat. I think I just kind of barge in with Berg kind of on my shoulder.
So you cross the threshold, and one of the students like turns when he notices you in his peripheral vision, and he gets slapped in the face by the instructor, and then he like snaps his attention back to what he's doing. And one of the instructors, the woman, She starts walking towards you.
Ma'am, my friend needs help. Do you have a bed I can lay him down in? Just a short rest.
She scowls at you, and she says, your language. I hate to hear it. So crude. And then she says something in another language that you don't understand. And you can tell it's a question.
The only language I have that would be... I mean, Draconic and Orcish are probably a lot cruder than Common. But I could speak in Aquan and see how that goes. So I'll respond in Aquan. I apologize. Do you have a bed that my friend may lay down in?
She responds in Aquan, and she says, better, thank you. She looks you up and down, and she says, where did you learn this language?
This is the language of turtles. Everyone knows this. A bed, please.
She shakes her.
He's very heavy.
Yeah, she shakes her head. Yeah, and she says, and what sort of creature is this? And turns to look at Berg.
I look at Berg and I'm trying to think like, oh God, what could he pass for? Like he's got tusk. That's not going to really work if I say he's a human because humans don't. He's not from this world. But he needs a bed.
She says to you as if you made a joke. She laughs and she says, no one is. And she looks at you and in common as if she's speaking to a child, Berg, she says, and what are you?
Fuck, I want to interrupt in Orcish, but then that'll be a pretty big tell. Go ahead, Berg, respond however you want.
Berg just looks up briefly and is like, I am Berg.
She says, I have not seen a Berg before. And kind of like looks around at you. She's like, are you injured or simply weak?
Both.
She shakes her head and she says, then you will die.
My eyes.
It's not a threat. Just an observation.
He will be fine, ma'am. He just needs a rest. Again, do you have a bed that he may lay down in?
She shakes her head and she says, you say that in Aquan?
Yeah.
She's like, I do not, what is this word?
Do you not sleep? Do you not rest? Do
she
you
looks
not...
at you like, you're saying more words I don't understand.
I switch to common then. A bed. Rest. Sleep.
She says to you, you are looking for somewhere to meditate.
Yes, of course. A place of meditation. We require one.
She gestures to one of the other buildings, and she says, solitude can be found within.
How far is one of the buildings that she points to? Not very
Just
far.
like across the street. The whole thing is just in a little area.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't, it's not far.
Okay, I'll respond in Aquan. Thank you, ma'am. Do you have a name?
She does. I didn't think to give her one yet, but she totally does.
I was hoping she'd respond. Name? What is that thing?
Her name is Akali.
Okay.
And she says I am instructor Akali.
Thank you. Akali.
ACHALI.
Okay.
So meanwhile, the conversation at the front. What are you? Are you still talking to this old dude?
Yes, I am. So I've already asked who enslaved them, and they said it's not for us to know. I wanted to know if I can make some sort of in my travels, make like a history check or something of that nature to discern at least like the race of these people.
I hate to just flat out say no, but there would just be no way for you to have heard anything about them before.
Okay. Okay.
Like
That's fine.
If it would be weird, we would run into this mechanical situation where if I let you roll, even if you succeeded, the story would be a lie. It would be about something else. It would be a mistaken story, right?
No,
they
that's-
just have no. Yeah.
No, that's an answer in and of itself because that like exits out like all the other races that I've ever heard of.
Exactly. And that's I think that's.
So, so then my next question would be, what do you call yourselves?
He kinda looks at you.
If I may be more specific, and I point to the scales on my head and the horns. I am Dragonborn. My friend is human. My other friend is Turtle. You?
He says, "We are the people."
Ah, the people.
He nods. Yes.
You weren't always in this place, is that correct?
He shakes his head. No, we have known other homes than this, when there were more of us.
Some of you died.
Many.
From old age or from war or what?
He says, after our freedom, the first incarnation led us against the others. Many perished. Some survived.
Were the others of the people as well?
He looks at you like either you said something really offensive or you're too stupid to know how offensive that was. And he kind of just looks at you like with pity.
Oh,
and he shakes his head and he says, there are only one people. And he looks around at the buildings, kind of with a sense of not pride, but of like, I know there's a somberness to it.
I'm sorry if I've given any offense. Where I am from, many other people who are not like themselves enslave and war with people that are like themselves or not like themselves. There's many wars fought for many different reasons, and many people die. Many people are enslaved, many different races and cultures, and this is something that I'm ignorant to. I have no knowledge of. So I apologize if I've given offense for my ignorance. I'm only trying to learn. Is there a way that someone can become of the people, or are you born into it?
He kind of like laughs. He says, there have been some who have joined us within the rings. And he looks up at the mountain and says, the Savior is not of our form, but is of our people. There was one other once. And he kind of looks far away, and he says, but it is near impossible now. You have passed the first rings, heard the beginnings of the story. And he looks back up at the mountain, and he says, if you seek an audience with the Savior, you will learn the rest.
Can you give us any insight into what the first rings were speaking of? The first one said, there is strength in knowing oneself. You know what that means?
He says, I have spent all of time studying the rings. It would not behoove me to give you the answers you seek. The seeking is what will enlighten you.
Ah, I like that. So, in the second ring, it said, learn that not knowing something can be a tool just like flesh and steel.
He nods, like you're telling him like the sky is blue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not here, but
How?
Yeah.
How do you not know something? How does one come to not know?
He looks to a building, and he says, "Seek stillness. Listen to the void. In darkness there is the not knowing." And he looks at you and kind of grins, and he says, "One circle at a time." And he puts his hand on your shoulder, kind of like he's like, like you're showing some promise, and like, yeah, maybe we can teach you a thing or two. Meanwhile, Ramus, what are you doing? Are you still watching the student attempt to master the elemental sphere?
Have
you moved on to another building?
I think I'm actually like inside, like gesturing to the lady, like, "Can I try?"
So you walk in, yeah, and the student, she says something to the student that basically amounts to like, keep working on it, and she walks over to you, and she says in common, she says, "Who are you?"
"I'm just a lowly priest, traveling, trying to learn about this magical realm."
What is this word, priest?
It's probably beneath someone of your stature, but we praise the arcana, the gods. Any of this sound familiar?
She's like, "I do not know what are arcana. I know not this word, gods."
"How about the tower, the sun? Any of this? No?"
She shakes her head, and she says, "That a tower, many stones, one atop another."
Yeah. Basically, we bring the word of the arcana to the people of the world and serve as an in-between between the people of our earth and the great beings that watch over us.
She nods and she says, "Ah, you serve the Sahir like we do. The Savior is one of these gods?"
We can go with that. That's close enough.
So she looks at you and she kind of pokes you a little bit, and she's like, "Did your wizard make you? Are you a simulacra?"
It's a little more complicated than that. But my wizard, my god, created us to serve him in our own way. But we have a little more, I would say, freedom than maybe someone that was just made by someone.
Freedom is very important.
Yes. I have tasted slavery. Never want to taste it again.
She nods and looks at you and she says, "This is good." What are you doing here?
Oh, we've come to learn the lessons of the rings, my friends and I.
She nods.
And I'm just curious. I saw you teaching this young man. What are you teaching him?
She looks over her shoulder and she says, "He's learning shaping, to take the unformed chaos and to give it form. It is very difficult." And when she says that, you look over at him and he's like struggling to contain this thing that's like basically just warping back and forth between earth that's on fire and then like steam, and it's getting bigger, and he's trying to contain it.
Is that how the master has made this place?
She nods. She says, "In his first incarnation, the master learned to make form from chaos. Our savior built this place for us so that we would have somewhere safe from the other."
You say the other.
She nods. Our enemy.
Tell me. And I describe the creature that I had seen in the forest that blew it up. Do you remember the big armored thing? I described it and how it exploded and stuff. Like, was it anything like that?
She shakes her head and she says, "You do not describe the other, but I have heard of these things. I believe that they are enemies of the Savior. He has one in his keep, a prisoner."
Oh, he has one. How fascinating. We've encountered these things a couple of times. They seem most problematic.
She shrugs. "I have not seen them. They are neither of the people or the other, and so do not concern me."
You must know a great deal of magic and secrets of this place, spending all your time studying and teaching.
She nods. "We prepare."
Is what he's doing there something that, let's say, I could try, or is it too dangerous?
She looks over and she says, "To shape the formless chaos takes time, strength of will." She looks at you up and down and says, "I do not think that you have the skill for it, creature."
Well, perhaps I shall. Perhaps I shall one day.
She nods and she says, "Perhaps." And she turns back to the student and she doesn't mind if you watch. She walks over and continues to instruct him and helps him get the shape back under control. And he forms it. Here's a thing. So here's what he does. She walks over and she gives him instruction, and he takes the burning earth and he twists it, and you can see him focusing, and it becomes for just a moment a perfect glass sphere in which water seems to flow. And you have instant and powerful deja vu. You've definitely seen an object like this before.
Oh my god!
So meanwhile, Sullyhoffa and Berg, you make your way across the little courtyard to one of the other buildings, and this building is one that's the most like a building. It has they're all kind of octagonal or angular shaped, has a roof and steps that lead up to it, and there's a man. Young by comparison, sitting on the steps, smoking a long pipe. This one is wearing the same kind of martial arts outfit. He's got kind of the Muay Thai wrappings around both arms, and he's sitting and just smoking this pipe as you walk up.
Excuse me, sir. Instructor Akali said there was a place to meditate inside. My friend requires much meditation. I say this in Aquan still.
Yeah, he looks at you and he says, kind of squints, and he's like, "Is he sick?"
No.
Then why is his skin that color?
He's sick.
And he shakes his head.
Think about it, a couple beats go by.
And he shakes his head and he says, "Has he come to meditate upon his demise?"
Yes, exactly that. Yes. You're very wise.
He shakes his head. He shakes his head and he says to you, Berg, but in Aquan, because he thinks that's what you speak. He says to you, Berg, he says, "I am sorry that you are going to die, but everything dies eventually. You should not be afraid. If you have lived a good life, that's all that matters." And of course, Berg, you don't understand any of that.
He is.
Yeah, I think Berg's just kind of
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
nodding
I kind
a
of
little bit, looking at.
I immediately pick it up.
At,
well, unless you're gonna say something, Max. Sorry.
No. He's just kind of nodding and then looking at you. That's all.
Yeah, I pick it up. He's led a very good life. He wishes to meditate on that. Just only a couple of. Do you understand time? Only a couple of minutes.
He looks at you and he says, "The sanctum is open to all. Please."
Thank you. And I hurry him in and kind of find a meditation room for him.
So here's the thing: you go into the front, and it's like walking into a like a hall of mirrors. In fact, I think you sort of like start when you first step in, because the floor is this like mirrored surface, and you see yourself and Berg reflected back at you in myriad shapes off the walls. Yeah, you're not sure what is going on. You're in a small, I mean, you think it's a small room, but there might be a hallway, but everything is mirrored and strange.
Is the man is the man that we talked to in
the
earshot?
door shuts behind you as you walk in.
Okay.
And you can hear there is the faint sound of like bells ringing occasionally, and a low sonorous chanting. The place smells strongly of some incense as well.
Okay. I will continue forward until someone stops us, I would assume.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're not even sure where you're going because this whole place is distorted and strange. So I think you walk in and you kind of like put your hands up and like you hit a wall, and it's like a mirrored wall, and then you turn, and then you kind of like find a door or an opening where you didn't expect there to be one. So what are you looking for in here?
A place that looks like it's only has one entrance, like basically a room, to put it simply.
Okay. All right, sure. Yeah, I think that you find your way eventually to, by trial and error, you find your way to an open area with mirrored walls and ceiling. The floor is like a darker mirror but reflects what's above, and there's like a stone platform, a little stone dais, kind of set in the center.
Berg, rest here. I'll make sure no one comes in. Don't touch that, by the way.
Okay.
So
Berg just kind of slumps down and
I help him down, and then try to understand and make sense of what the fuck is happening in this place. This room, not necessarily this entire place.
Yeah.
My immediate
so you
surroundings.
sit Berg down. Yeah, and it does look like just like a hall of mirrors, basically. So you see yourself and Berg reflected on all the walls around you in various distorted shapes. Yeah, it's like an impossible room, reflecting light from seemingly somewhere.
Okay. I mean, turtles are accustomed to meditating. I think wizards are as well, but I see Berg's probably struggling with this, or probably just
Berg, what are
lost,
you doing? There is something peaceful about this room, despite its sort of confusing nature.
yeah, Berg's like trying to rest, trying to meditate, maybe thinking about like, is this where he's actually going to die? You know what I mean? Could it be possible, that this is his resting place? And then after thinking about that, he kind of goes to think about like, well, if it is, what does that mean to him? Like, is he ready for that? And then he thinks about like, just the stuff that he's done and gone through, or is it, is he going to have to endure even more pain? And thinks on what the like, I don't even know what we were calling it, the thing that appeared and like whispered into his ear, like what that was all about and why it only spoke to just him and whispered to him. He's kind of like parsing through all the events of the day.
So Sully, when you look at Berg, Berg looks like deep in thought, right? Do you have your eyes closed, Berg?
Yeah.
Or are you just sort of staring into the mirrors?
I think his eyes are closed.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not. I think I poked my head outside the room that.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like the dude did say like you can find solitude within. So if you want to give Berg a space to actually meditate, you will have to leave.
Yeah, my one fear is, I think I'm just gonna stay right outside the room, in more of like a guard dog position instead of absolutely leaving. One, because I don't know if I'll be able to find my way back in here. Like I don't know what
I was gonna say. Yeah,
I don't know what this place is. If it's
make
a reality
make
within a reality.
Make an intelligence saving throw to see if you can kind of handle, like, figure out where things are going to be.
Okay.
So you can find your way back.
All right.
Give Berg some space, but find your way back.
10.
Okay. I think you go out with the intention of being like, all right, left, right, and then you get kind of turned around and you realize you don't know the way back to where Berg is.
Damn.
Fuck. Well,
It was nice knowing you, Berg.
I guess I try to find my way out of here then.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. You find your way out.
Is the man still there when I get out?
Yeah, so you step out, and he looks up at you and kind of like brushes his mustache out of the way, and he says, "Oh, done already? Has he gone? Don't worry about the corpse. It will take care of itself."
Okay, what is this the place where your people come to die? I kind of gesture to the
Shakes his head.
inside.
Oh no, we cannot die. Not the way you can.
How do you understand the meaning of age? How old are you?
He shakes his head and he says, "The Savior has told us of your time. It sounds terrible."
The savior being
He looks up at the mountain. "The second incarnation, of course. The rebirth. He who freed us from our masters." Wow, you really don't know anything, do you?
we are new here. Yes, are you referencing one of the Sahir?
He nods. Yes, you would call him Utrix, I think.
And how long has he been here?
He raises an eyebrow, like, long, buddy, time? Come on.
Oh, yes, that was quite a simple understanding of this world. How many of there are you?
He shrugs. The people, some have gone, some return. In number now, he looks around, a dozen perhaps.
And your meaning in life is to
We prepare.
prepare
We
for
understand the unbroken circle. We train and we study.
what is it you're preparing for?
War with the other, of course.
The others here?
He shakes his head. No. Though if they had a wizard on their side, it would not surprise me.
And again, I know this is a silly way to think of things, but how long have you been at war?
He looks at you and kind of shakes his head and he says, well, since the Sundering, of course, which
Oh.
came after our savior freed us. Foolish thing.
Where did he free you from exactly?
Servitude.
And you served? I'm just constantly
Shakes-
asking about
yeah,
sub questions.
yeah, and he's just laughing. Like he thinks this is really funny. Where you're like, "What color is the sky?
Yeah.
And why is it blue?" Like he's
No,
having a
that-
conversation with a child.
Yeah, this is Sally off of being a child and just constantly,
Yeah.
you know, berating him with question after question after question.
And he says, we were slaves when once we were one. Back before the first incarnation saved us. Our masters were a people that had come not to know themselves. They had learned ways to make us not know ourselves. This is the first lesson.
And how many people such as myself have journeyed here before, would you say?
He shrugs. Some, a few, more than none.
And they're ultimately going up there? Or do they...
He nods.
All right.
Most of them come with purpose. You and your friends seem to be wandering, lost, or dead, I suppose. And he looks back at the building.
Yes, we have no purpose here. I wipe my brow.
So, Kalimat, you see your friends in the little like area, right? You're sort of finished talking with this older guy. So you can see Sully talking to someone sitting on the steps outside an enclosed building. You can see Ramus talking to or maybe walking away from this other building nearby. What do you want to do? Where do you go?
Well, this is
Berg seems to have disappeared.
That building is where the guy I was talking to pointed to when I said, "How does one not know himself or know themselves?" And he, like, the smile on his face, and he pointed at that building, right, that they went into.
Yes, the one the Berg went into. Yeah.
The Solinarium or Terium, because you said the name before.
No, so the thing he referred to the mountain, the top of the mountain, the wizard's like lair. It was a seclusium.
Seclusium. There you go. That's not this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The seclusium is a different thing.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just lost in thought, because this is like some Buddhist shit, like try and forget yourself kind of stuff. Like, how did it fucking do that? You can just think for, ever on that, which people have done. So I'm just wandering towards that place, thinking, back in my mind is concern for Berg to make sure he's all right. So that's why I'm walking towards where I saw them go, and just, looking around and pondering shit. And as soon as I get up to Sally Hoffa,
I think you walk by Ramus on your way.
Okay.
So Ramus, what are you doing? You've just seen this familiar this orb.
I'm just like, oh my god, what is that? To the lady, when it turns into the orb shape, it just snaps in my head. All the stuff that was attached to it, the vision I had, the me dying with it in my hands, like all this stuff flashbacks. I'm like, what is that item?
So when you say that, you startle him, and he loses control for a second, and it just pops, and water kind of just flows out into the empty air and dissipates. He curses in their like language and like snaps his fingers. The woman says something conciliatory to him, like, don't worry about it, and then looks kind of sourly at you, like, now you're kind of interrupting, like, I'm trying to teach this guy something. And Kalimat, you hear that. You hear Ramus say that last bit.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Can you repeat it? Ramus?
Oh, what is that? It's just like what I blurted out.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay, so I stop and glance over at Ramus, and is there anything that's happening, or are you just having a conversation, or is like there's magic-y shit going on?
I mean, you don't even see that. You just see this woman kind of scowl at Ramus, and then there's another, like a male one sitting on the floor.
Okay, so I just stop and kind of call out to him. Ramus, is everything all right?
Hold on a second. I have to talk to her. Can you make one of these keep its shape permanently?
She says, I can make a persuasion check. Let's see if she just kicks you out. She's kind of pissed at you. So, all
right, persuasion 10.
Yeah, Kalimat, you see Ramus being Ramus, and I'm not being obnoxious and irritating people. And she scowls, and she's like about to be like, just get the fuck out of here. Do you interject on Ramus's behalf, or do you like take him away and be like, come on, Ramus, let's go?
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my camera just took a shit. I'm frozen. I apologize.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, well, I'm going to. Well, I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let Ramus be Ramus, and my concern for Berg will carry me past that, since he kind of already told me that we're having a conversation, and he kind of ignored me. So I'll just let that go and continue on to Sally Hoffa.
Okay. Yeah. So she gives you a look, Ramus, like, get out of here. Do you leave, or are you gonna press on?
I'll be like, just answer one thing for me, and I will leave you alone to teach. Can you make these things last permanently? As I've seen this before.
I think
outside of this realm.
She shakes her head and she says, You've interrupted these lessons enough. Please leave. She points.
Well, I thought you'd like to learn something new, but fine, I'll leave.
Yeah, she just scowls and kind of like goes back to the lesson. Okay, so you and Kalimat are walking away from the area, and you're walking towards Sully.
Yep.
Sully, you see the two of them approaching.
Okay. Yeah.
One quick second. I'm just gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Okay. We'll wait a second then.
By a version.
Okay. Well, I'll jump over to Berg. So Berg,
Okay, great.
You were like meditating in the strange like glass chamber. Can you roll
Like a con save? Sure, yeah.
No, can you make a like a religion check?
Sure.
Okay.
Go. There you go.
Oh, nice. Wow, that's a good roll. Because you got -1. That was a 16. So yeah, so I think we see you with your eyes closed, sitting there like just breathing and like, you know, a little haggard, kind of weak. And you open your eyes, and in the reflections around you, directly ahead of you, you see a reflection of yourself illuminated in this kind of strange, starry, sort of bluish white light. In a mirror slightly to the left of that, you see the dwarven thug that you killed recently, and he's standing there with his arms folded, staring at you. And to the right of your image, you see the strange, like shadowy creature, the like imp creature with the cloak on, staring at you with its hands pressed up against the glass, just kind of like looking out at you. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So I saw the dwarf guy and then shadowy imp creature. Like was this?
Yeah, the very first soul you took.
Okay, yeah. I'm just making sure.
Yeah,
I'm seeing things that I okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Berg kind of like does like a one of those like like wipes his eyes and like squints to see if he's actually seeing what he's seeing, and just kind of like does one of these like moves and see if they like react to it.
They're both just watching you. The one with the little guy with the cloak is like silently banging on the other side of the glass. You don't see it moving, but his eyes are this like glowing red, and he's just kind of like banging on it. And he seems to be saying something, but you can't hear it. And the dwarf is staring at you still have his mace, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he's staring at it hungrily, and like pacing a little bit, like looking at it.
Maybe Berg gets up and like walks towards the dwarf, like the mirror with the dwarf, I guess. And just kind of gauges his reaction on his approach.
Yeah, he looks at you, looks down at the hammer, just kind of watches you warily.
Berg like grabs once he notices like what he's looking at, he like pulls it out and just like looks like that just to see.
His eyes follow it. Yeah. And sneers a little.
You had to die. You were evil. A life of bad things. I regret nothing.
You hear a voice behind you, speaking in unaccented common, clear as if they had just like walked up behind you in the room. You hear someone say, "A worthy attitude."
Berg like what? He turns around.
You turn around and you don't see anyone there. But when you look at the mirrored surface behind you, you see yourself looking kind of shocked and beleaguered. You turn around and look, and there is something behind you in the reflection, some shadowy form. It's indistinct, but you immediately get like a shiver when you see it.
Yeah. And so to Berg's knowledge, this is the direction of the thing that just spoke.
Yeah, somebody was standing behind you, and you just like turned around, like,
yeah.
But
and now it's the shadowy
there.
Right.
But now you see in your reflection something shadowy behind you.
Right.
Cowards play tricks. What do you want from me?
No trick, friend. Only an opportunity for us to finally speak.
Oh. Well, what are you? Why talk to me now?
Less interference here. Something keeping us apart where you found me. Out here, I find it much easier to access your faculties. You're a terror, aren't you? So much blood. Fascinating.
What do you want?
Oh, carry on as you are. We'll get to plans in time.
Berg's starting to get like angry, like as this person's talking as if they have dominion over him, you know?
Mm.
Berg is no one's slave.
Ah, and as it should be. Yes. Seize your freedom. Take what's yours. And if they get in your way, we've all the gifts in the world to handle them. Such fire in you.
You are the reason for my pain.
Oh no. No, Berg. I will be your emancipation. You'll see.
What does emancipation mean?
Freedom, Berg.
It's a serious question.
Freedom. Yeah, of course. Totally. Yeah. That's what he says. He says, freedom, Berg. Freedom. No one will ever command you again. I only want to help. And perhaps you'll be able to repay me in time. Your strength is admirable. You've seen so much.
In my experience, those who promise freedom often tighten the binds.
I promise nothing. I offer only power. What you do with it is your decision. You've had a cup from that deep well. There will be more to come in time. If you are worthy of it.
I don't want power.
Everyone wants power, Berg.
I want less pain.
We'll see.
Berg looks around, turns around to look, see if the dwarf, reflection is still there. And also the image.
You turn around and all you see is yourself reflected in all these different sort of strange mirrors.
And Berg looks back like, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So we see Berg kind of like looking around in confusion, and then cut to outside, and Kalimat, Salihafa, and Ramus, you are outside in the square, able to reconnoiter. What do you do?
Sally, where's Berg?
He's meditating is what they call it here, but resting inside that building.
Oh, did you tend to his wounds and make sure he was all right and everything?
Yeah, yes, of course. He's inside there. He's fine.
Now, listen, quick question. Do I have to roll insight to know that he's fucking full of shit?
Yes, it would be if you want to lie to him, it's an opposed deception and insight roll.
I mean, it's not necessarily a lie. I'm sure. I guess it'll be a lie. I guess I'm lying.
I mean, you didn't really you just kind of left him in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm lying.
Well, then
16 is what I rolled.
Can you oh, you are? Okay. I was mostly joking about that.
Okay.
Can you guide me to where Berg is?
You see, that's the thing. I simply can't.
What?
I'm sorry.
It's a maze in there. I got lost. I can't remember. That's why I was coming.
You
sound
lost
like
our
you.
Berg.
I was coming to find you to see what you thought we should do about this. I simply stepped out of the room so we could rest, and I lost my place. This doesn't happen very often, you see.
No, that is very out of character for you to not remember something. You remember everything. All right, well, I will go in and try to find him if you guys would like to come with me and maybe search different hallways or something. Is it?
That's not
Is it
wise. No, we should not do that. One at a time. We will get lost. Go in. We will be outside. If you can't find him, we'll send Ramus in. That way you know that we are outside. If we go in there together, we might not ever come out together.
When you left Berg, did he seem like he was going to be okay on his own?
Does he ever seem like he's going to be okay on his own?
All right.
He should be fine. He's
to
simply
either
resting in a
was
room.
Exhausting. I hope you know that. No, is he going to die? How about that? Will he die if you since you left him?
He was not bleeding from what I could tell. He should be okay. Just rest for a while and
All right.
should make
Well
it
then,
out.
I'm going in there without the intent of looking for Berg. If I stumble upon him, fine. But I want you to know that I'm going in there with the intent to try and unknow myself, I suppose.
Well, you'll see yourself many times and in many facets in there, so I wish you luck, friend.
All right. And Kali just kind of slowly walks into the building.
Okay. All right. So you open the door, and Berg, in your chamber, one of the mirrors like slides away, and there's like bright light and a silhouette. And when your eyes adjust, you see Kalimat standing there. And Kalimat, you're just face to face with Berg, just like right inside.
Well, that was easy. I kind of call back out. I found him.
That quickly. That's interesting indeed. Just run over there in my turtleness.
Berg, are you all
He is a
right?
turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berg looks kind of like confused, and is like,
I think so. How much time has passed?
It's been 3 months since you left us.
You just see me put my head of my hand in the back. He's joking.
Yes,
Berg,
it's been 3 long months. We've missed you so much.
Berg, they're both joking. I don't understand. This is not a joking matter. I shoved past.
Why is
Why are you
that
lying
funny?
to him?
I'm not lying. You're the ones lying. It's been only a couple of minutes. Are you okay, Berg? You should have spent some time in there.
I think so. Weird. Strange. This place.
Is everyone like watching us congregate right outside this place?
Not really. Just the one guy who's sitting on the steps. It's like, huh. And when you look around to see if he's watching, he looks at you and he's like, "Your friend came back to life."
He did, yes. Seems the meditation was in his favor this time around. I say this in Aquan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned to Kali. I do not wish to keep you from this conversation, but they think our tongue is harsh, so I'm trying to please them.
Solly. And I put my hand over my heart. You remembered what I said before.
I just didn't want to have another conversation with you about it. That's all. Don't think into it.
so Adam, real quick, like
you have really made me proud this day, Solly. And I put my hand on his shoulder. Thank you, my friend.
What were we gonna say, Max?
So Berg's only been here for like what? Like, I it's important to know like the actual time. Is it Has he only been in here for like a couple minutes?
The whole thing has been the whole thing has been like maybe an hour.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to ask, like, in terms of like Berg is still there's no HP back or anything. Like I wouldn't have been able to do any hit dice or anything. Okay.
I mean, you could. I mean, you could all kind of count. You could all kind of count this as a short rest if you want.
Okay.
Anybody wants to spend?
I'm just saying because it affects the way Berg is going to have like his attitude towards.
Consider this a short rest if you want to spend hit dice. Sure.
Okay. Because if he's just staying at 8, you know, I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's like fucking.
Yeah.
All right, I will spend my hit dice. Boop. Hey, nice. That's 1. Okay. Nice.
While he's doing that, I'm also going to use Arcane Recovery to recover 2 spell slots.
Okay.
Because why not?
I'm really doing really well with these hit dice.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Zeke, are you injured or at full health?
No, I'm injured too. I would like to do that as well.
Okay.
We knew they had to have at least one that was bad. I got 2 more. Oop.
Are you getting close to full, Berg?
Yep. 1 more that should get me there, which is my last one. Perfect. 1 HP off of full hit or full HP. So we're feeling better.
So I get a total of 5 rolls. Is that true?
It's equivalent to your level.
If you want.
Yeah, your level.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to use all of yours.
Spend them, you spend them like currency, and then you recover half of them when you take a long rest. Like recover half the ones you spent.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So that's fine. I'll take this fucking terrible 2 dice. So I have 3 left today.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just one off of full. So.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell everybody. Well, it looks like everybody is set. Everybody's fine, healthy and happy. I think we could all do with some rest. I'm going to take. I'm going to get lost in here for a minute. And I walk into like the hallways of the mirrored place and try to find a spot.
Go into the mirrored hall. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you walk in there, and yeah, you find it to be as much of a strange funhouse as I described before. And in your wandering, I think you can find what you seek. You can find a place to settle. And then what do you want to do? Or do you just want to wander around? Or are you not looking for anything in particular?
No, I want to find like a room that like Berg found.
Yeah, like a space
kind
to
of
meditate.
Yeah. And just try to forget myself, I guess.
Okay. All right. Let's have you make a religion check.
Okay.
See if you can quiet your mind. So what is it that keeps you from this? What thought distracts you? What is the one thing that you can't like put out of your head? Try all the tricks as you might. What is the thing that distracts you?
I think it would be the untold story of the people. Like I don't the story that how much I don't know about these
it's
people.
It's the not knowing that's driving you crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The curiosity,
okay.
That.
Okay. So while that's happening, yeah, you can't let it go, right? Like it just keeps nagging on you, this unfinished story. You don't know the conclusion or the rest of the story. There's so much yet missing. I like it. Okay. So while he's doing that, Berg, Sully, and Ramus, what do you want to do?
Berg, do you remember a certain Azure vortex?
Berg kind of goes very serious, like,
Yes, of course.
And do you remember what she wanted to know more than anything else in her life?
The orb. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, that woman over there will not just had her student make one in front of me, and she won't tell me anything about it. Does that make you angry, Berg?
Ramus. I look very seriously at Ramus when he's doing this.
Berg like thinks really hard. Like, does that make me angry?
I don't know.
Ramus, what is your goal here?
I'm just saying this is our chance to find out Azure's greatest desire in life, and what a better way to honor her memory than to fulfill her goal.
What do you know of these people,
But, you know, we can
Ramus?
just press on. I don't.
What do you know of these people? It's probably not the best idea to start a fight.
No, we have other things. You're right. We have other more important things. And Azure Vortex, the lovely, lovely lady who had an unfortunate death.
Berg like stares at you like very intently, Ramus.
I know.
Or can you make an insight check?
Okay.
Oh, you have no idea Ramus is trying to manipulate you. Like you just none. Berg is unaware of the fact that Ramus is manipulating him.
And given that,
I think we should learn more about it. It's what
Oh, you
she
would like to go
wanted.
ask her? Oh, you would like to
Yes.
ask her? Oh, well, if he wants to, I mean, we might as well. While we're here, we have a minute.
Berg, we can do whatever Ramus wants to here, but I please beg you, do not fight this woman.
Why would I fight them?
We're just asking questions.
Berg doesn't ask questions, Ramus. I know what you're doing here, but I will let you do whatever you want to.
What? He's helping me
Yes. Yes.
for someone that
He
was
is
very
my
important.
friend, and I want to help him get over something from his past.
What is wrong with that?
I step away and probably walk 4 or 5 feet and then turn. You know what? Berg, he's manipulating you right now, right at this very moment, just like Kukrit did in the past. He is being your current Kukrit.
Oh shit!
Sorry, what were you
Berg, like,
saying? I
looks
was
at Ramus.
praying for Berg.
Berg looks at Ramus like, and then back at Sally Hoffa like,
Why? Why do you say this?
He wants you to start a fight with this woman because he wants the knowledge of some orb that Azure Vortex had long ago. But you can't see this.
Berg's like sitting there like thinking really hard.
Ramus, is that true?
Yes, Ramus, is that true?
Are you not
Are you
just
really-
being a friend?
Are you really so jealous of his dead girlfriend that you would keep him from her?
I just look at him and my turtle mouth just opens in awe of what Ramus has just said. And I slowly turn to Berg to see how he responds.
I am very, very confused.
I just think we should ask if she knows anything about the orb that Azure, cared so deeply about. And if she doesn't know anything, she doesn't know anything. Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Questions are not bad, yes, but you two do this alone. I don't wish to be a part of this, because if you start a fight,
Don't worry.
I won't be with
They
you.
can't die. They said so.
Yes, which means you can't kill them.
I don't want to kill them.
He's just curious about his girlfriend, and I'm supporting his decision to do this. If you could be a friend too, that would be nice.
Do as you wish. I'm done here, and I shoo you away.
If you, Ramus, if you don't already have inspiration, go ahead and take it. It was great. You're awful, but that was good.
You're a piece of shit, but you're really good at it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job being a piece of shit. What, Berg, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Berg's interested in going to check it out to see, you know,
Okay.
I mean, he knows it's not going to bring her back, but it was important to her. So,
Okay.
you know,
All right.
while we're here, I guess in Berg's mind, it's like, yeah, that does make sense. Why wouldn't we do that? Berg doesn't have context.
So what does it look? What does it look? What does it look like when you approach? So he said, like the woman over there knows something about this. What does it look like?
Yeah. I guess Berg comes up and just to the instructor. What is the instructor just paying attention to? You know, whatever.
Yeah, she's paying attention to the student, and he's currently transforming a ball of fire into a solid sphere of like onyx, and then back into fire, and is like trying to like transition between the two. And she's like talking to him and watching.
I guess whenever there's a break between her talking to her student, he's like,
You'll have to interrupt, I think, because they're in the middle of
he's
something.
going.
Excuse me.
She looks up, kind of sighs frustratedly. Says to you in common, "What do you want, Outlander? Your friend was harassing us earlier. I have a student to teach. What do you want?"
Someone I once knew that was very kind to me wanted to know more about these things. She had one. I just wish to know more about it. It was important.
Make a persuasion check.
He's gonna fail.
And I've given you guidance too. And when I was praying, I was giving you guidance as well for this.
Nice. Sure. Like, please not let him fuck this up so I can learn what I want to know.
Not horrible.
So then roll a d4.
A D4, you said?
Yeah, roll a d4 and add it to that 14.
All right, let me get over to the role play. There we go. Hey.
Okay, 17. It's pretty good. Stands up, says something to her student. She walks over to you and she says, "The way that you talk about shaping shows me you know nothing about it. Now tell me again, what are you rambling about?"
She had an orb, similar, but different. It controlled air. It glowed.
She
And then, like,
shakes her head.
Berg kind of looks at Ramus like, do you remember more? Like, you know.
Yes, it was a orb about this size, kind of shimmered. When you hold it and look into it, you get visions, and we don't know what it was.
Scowls at Raymond. She obviously doesn't like him. Looks back to you, Berg, and says, "This is shaping. It is a technique for giving form to chaos. A smaller version of what the Savior did to create this place for us. It is said that when the people were one, before our separation from the other, all of us could do this. It was taken from us by those who would enslave us. We are attempting to relearn. Our Savior is teaching us. And as he taught me, I teach the others."
I'm sorry you were ever enslaved.
She gives you a solemn bow, and she says, "To be robbed of one's will is the truest crime."
Thank you for telling me about this. I appreciate your kindness.
She shakes her head. She says, "Knowledge is not about kindness. It is important to know and to seek knowing. I am not being kind. simply opening your eyes as the first incarnation did for those who followed him.
Speaking to me and treating me as someone else who deserves knowledge is being kind. Thank you.
She kind of looks at you like, like it gives a little like interesting. Like you got her thinking about something.
I think Bird gives like a slight
that,
bow and then like turns away.
Yeah, I think before you go, something occurs to her, and she says, "If you saw something like this in the place that you are from, it would be most unusual. The Savior has said that the world from which he came was static, formed, finished. We work with chaos." And she holds her hand up and seems to like grab a ball of air, and then it lights on fire. And now she has this ball of fire in front of her, and then she blows on it, and it turns into a like a snowball. And she just throws it at you, and it hits you in the chest, and just puffs into snow, and the snow melts in the air. And she says, "A trick more easily accomplished here than in your home. This place is unfinished."
Is it possible the other world was parts of it were left unfinished?
She says, "It would be shoddy work to leave it undone, but I suppose it could be possible."
Well, thank you for helping my friend. This is very important to him.
She looks at you, Berg, and she says, "The people have lost many of their kind in the first war. Even our first incarnation was lost to us, but he returned." And she looks up at the mountain. "That which you have lost will return in time as well." And she smiles.
Bird kind of like gets a little, like emotional for just a second. He's just like,
I hope so, but I do not think so.
Yeah, I think she knows that there's no response expected and turns back to her student.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, then Bird just walks away.
So, yeah. So, I think Kalimat, you wander around, kind of like frustratedly unable to clear your head, and end up finding yourself back at the front door, as though this place is like, all right, you tried, but it's time to go home. And
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
and you find a door and open it, and find yourself back out on the threshold.
Okay. Well, am I just there by myself?
No, I think you can see your friends, like nearby friends. You can see your companions nearby.
Okay. I walk up to them, and as I'm walking up, I just say, "Well, that was completely unsuccessful. Just too much on my mind to forget who I am. I think it's because I like myself so much. I'm hard to forget."
That's probably it. Yes, I would agree.
Did you guys, did you find out any more information that would help us along the way?
Well,
Berg, I see you are looking, well, more Berg-like, I suppose. I was going to say good, but
Berg's not really laughing.
no, I know I didn't expect a laugh from fucking any of you, so it's okay.
yeah, I look back and say, well, Ramus tried to get Berg to kill one of the natives, so it's been an eventful 5 minutes or so.
Dare you? Berg just wanted to find out about something over here.
Can I make
You're
it?
so unsupportive.
Adam, can I make an Arcana roll to see what I found out about that? Kind of in the years that I followed Azure Vortex and the story.
Find out about
Berg?
what?
About anything that I would know about the orb, just in general.
It'd be a history check, but yeah.
History check. Okay.
Yep.
24.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it first shows up in your research. It first shows up in official request for information by Kukrit, actually. So Kukrit describes an artifact. There's some requests from a Court of Swords, like military library, that he put in and was like, I need more information about this object. It seems like he was really aggressively after it. The Court of Coins and by extension the monastery that Azure Vortex belonged to held it for some time, but there's no record of that. You don't find it again until you hear the stories about it. And yeah, I think it disappears when you expect, right? Like there's no clear record as to what it is or who it belongs to or anything, but it comes up bits and pieces here and there.
Okay. Well, I was going to try to.
Kukrit was mad after it. He thought it was worth digging for because he sent the players to go, the other characters to go get it, and
right.
Yeah.
I was going to try to hold information over Berg and Ramos's head about it, but if I don't know anything in particular, then it's not.
Yeah, I don't know anything. If you got a chance to look at it, I bet you'd definitely be the one to be able to like figure out what it did and its purposes, but you haven't had a chance to hold it or see it.
Okay. Okay, I shrug all that off. We must make a decision if we wish to go speak with the Sahir of this place, as it were. We must go up there, but and I lean in and whisper this. Do we really wish to speak with him when we're simply going to be stealing from him?
Well, if I don't know, it's been in the back of my head, but the outcome of the card said there might be a partnership. Now, we originally thought that might have been with Inanna, but maybe it's with Utrix.
No, Kalimata, I want my questions answered. We're going back.
What makes you think that Utrix doesn't have these questions answered or could answer these questions for you?
Well, I don't have a deal with him.
Both very powerful.
There's no deal with him.
What?
The immortals said, do not trust Inanna.
See? Berg, you are wise.
No.
I'm surprised you all don't see it. Oh, don't be modest.
What
all
is
right.
modest?
We just glance over that and continue talking.
Yeah.
Well, Berg is the one, I believe, that this question lies upon. Are we going, or do you feel up to continuing, Berg, since this seems to be your trial? You're the only one being put in any pain because of this. Do you feel like you want to proceed?
You talk.
That is deeply unsettling to hear you laugh.
You talk as if pain is new to me.
So that's a yes. All right. Let's continue. I'm excited. I'm still excited.
We should ask if there's more of their kind that way, or if we'll be on our own. Or perhaps what lies
Feel
that
free.
way. Very well, and I
Absolutely.
go find the guy that was sitting in front of the building that Berg and Kalimat went into.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a few people you've talked to, but yeah, the dude that was sitting, actually the dude sitting in front of the meditation chamber seems to have gone. He might be inside.
Oh.
But the old guy that greeted you initially, he seems to be around. You look over and he's in front of a sort of temple-looking building, and he's sweeping some like dried grass that is blown up here, sweeping it off of the steps.
Excuse me, sir, but I have another question.
And he looks up. and he says to Kalimat, he says, "Your friends are as inquisitive as you are. All questions, please."
Well,
he looks at you. So like, go ahead.
If we were to journey up there, and I point to the top of the mountain, what would you say lies that way? Are there more tests? Are there more of you? Is there more villages?
He laughs. He says, "More tests. There have been no trials yet. What tests have you undergone?"
Nothing. We haven't been tested at all. We walked here without
He
hesitation.
He
It's
laughs.
quite easy, actually. Is there any
He
test up
laughs,
there?
and he says, "I don't think your friend will make it to the seclusium," and looks at Berg.
And why is that? He has proven himself.
Crossing the barriers, it's killing him. You think you have it in you to cross 5 more.
But quiet down now. He doesn't need to know how many there are. But 5?
He's like,
It's all right. He can't count.
Yeah, I put up 5 and kind of like guard it with my chest as I do that to hide it from the rest of the group. He's lived. Maybe he'll die. Who knows? You're not to say. You can't see the future. Can you?
He just grins.
Well, we hope to come back
Why?
here. I have many questions for you.
Why does
He nods.
my death make you smile?
He shakes his head and says, "No death pleases me. It is your friend's short-sightedness that amuses me. His arrogance. If you turn back now, perhaps you will survive. If you press on."
Berg, I had another thought. I don't know. Well, I've been a trickster, charlatan. I have pulled the wool over many eyes. And I say this with full honesty. When I dealt the cards for this journey, I felt something. Something I'd never felt before. A twinge of fate or destiny, whatever you want to call it. The hangman represents a sacrifice. I don't want you to be that sacrifice. So if you say turn back, I will follow you. But if you say keep going forward, I will also follow you there. But I want you to know that those are my feelings. Those are my thoughts.
This world doesn't need me. And my life has been pain. If I die, I die. But if I live for nothing, that would be most sad. I will go.
Very well then.
But what if you just stayed here? Just right here and waited for us.
What would that do?
Well, you wouldn't harm yourself through the 5 more rings that we have to cross.
I can't answer that. Much of this place strange. I don't know if I'm needed forward. But I know if I stay here, I do nothing.
I'll turn around to the man standing there. Excuse me, sir. If one were looking for experiments here in this plane, where would they go? Is it at the top? Is it somewhere 2 rings over, 3 rings? Where would you say that would be at?
He says, our savior performs many such experiments, all within the seclusium, past the rings, atop the mountain.
I mutter to myself. So, yes, 5. 5 more rings, Berg. If you wish to journey with us, then I won't tell you to stay. And then
I have made my choice.
Well, fair enough. Does anyone want to wait any longer, or should we continue?
I'm ready.
It sounds like you're going to carry on. Yeah.
Yep.
So just outside, as the ground begins to rise, just outside the little monastery area, you approach the 4th circle, a pillar, and a single step.
At this point, I'm super confident about walking across this, so I'm probably just going to go first. It might even be like a race where me and Kali Mott are walking side by side, and I step a little bit faster than he is to get across it.
I look at you and I think about it for a second. I'm like, nah, go on. You have fun.
Yeah. So I cross.
And I mean, Kali Mott, are you stopping each time to listen to the story?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So at the fourth circle, the apparition appears and says to you, Vilquar came to know that when Vilquar's eye had nothing left to see, it was useless. This was the 4th lesson.
Could I history check the name Vilquar?
Yeah, you could try. Sure.
23.
You have never heard it before.
Okay.
At least not in this context. There's probably a couple of Vilquars, but you know that they're not what this person is talking about. Like, Vilquar the Elder, who grew up in the Court of Swords 14 years ago and, so yeah, there's.
Okay.
When you cross, we'll get with Berglass, but when you cross, the sort of response to that is when one chooses to see only what is before them, they see only a part of the whole and are blind. As Vilquar was blinded by his promised reward, so were our masters blinded to the rising. For when they heard Vilquar's words, they turned their sight outwards again, and the rising was free to strike.
Okay.
Berg, are you ready to cross the threshold?
Yeah.
All right, man. Make that con save.
Good luck.
Okay. This is gonna be fun. Whoop.
Is that it?
Okay.
I can't see it.
So you take the full ditch. Oh. Jesus God, this is the worst one. So the pain is like, it's just blinding. It erases everything about existence except for itself. All you feel is pain. There is no more Berg, only just a pure cloud of suffering. How many hit points you got left as you pass through that barrier?
20.
What's that? 20? Okay. So it doesn't kill you. You manage to stay on your feet, but it just like rips through you like a wave of pain. And I think this time everyone can see when Berg passes through and the fire kind of rips through him, the whole barrier like ripples with this sort of crackling lightning, kind of like scatters out across the barrier.
I'm there.
And Berg's just like aching in pain.
Yeah.
Like
I put my arm on him and I just try and say things like, Come on, Berg. You've had whiplashes that hurt more than that, right? Let's get up.
I think me and Kalimat make eye contact, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is terrible. We're making him do this shit. But we don't say anything out loud. Or at least I don't.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely share a look to that degree, of course, yes.
Yeah. Oh. Well, there's 4 more to go. We better hurry on here. Ramus, come along now.
4 more? I thought there were only 7.
The man said there was 5 more. That was the first.
Yes, there's 8 rings in total.
Right.
Ramus, come
Well,
on,
I
man.
hope you're planning on being generous with your spells, Ramus.
Don't worry, I will get him through to the end, one way or another.
Do you have that 4th thing written down somewhere, Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, I can send it to you. Do you want the I'll just post it in chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been putting it in
I'll be right
chat.
back.
I keep looking for it. I'm like, can copy it and stuff.
Adam, can I, when Berg passes through that, is there a roll I can make to try to discern if it has anything with him being on the ground, or is it just literally the abjuration like wall that he's passing through? So if it's at any point of that wall, it'll trigger off. Like, is there any sense of, is there anything I can do to realize?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check, sure.
Okay. 21.
Yeah, I mean it's a sphere, so it probably actually extends under the island too. And it's whatever he is that you're not, whatever is special about him, it's activating this field.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was attempting to see if I could levitate Berg through if it would trigger it, but
Oh no, it's not a wall, it's like a bubble. There's
Yeah.
nested bubbles leading towards yeah.
okay. Does Ramus, do you pass through?
Yes.
All right. I think we start journeying to the next one. Is there anything different about this ring, like the inside of this ring, or is it just more?
As you pass through this ring, the earth seems almost like liquid at this point. It's sort of rippling around you. There are tendrils of earth that kind of rise up. All the grass has like died away, and so there's just stone. And in places, the stone will reach up a tentacle, and then the tentacle will pop into a burst of flame, and then it'll sink back in. There's like these strange ripples that pass through it, and in some places you can see as you're walking on the stone, these tendrils of rock kind of are reaching up towards you. But when you look at it, they pull away and kind of like retract.
Okay. I think we keep our hands to ourselves then and don't touch any of that stuff.
So you reach
yeah.
the edge of the edge of the 5th circle. And the image appears, and for a moment, the thing that's speaking when it first appears, it flickers back and forth between the male like scholar warrior that has been talking so far, flickering between him and then a woman, a little taller, more gaunt, long pointed ears, yellow skin, same as him, kind of pale eyes, dressed in like armor. With a long 2-handed sword on her back. And so they flicker in back and forth between the two, but only the man is speaking. And he says, in hearing her words, the first incarnation wished to know war. He knew not what afflicted him, but knew he wished to join his blade to hers. He wished to give his hate expression and share his pain with the masters.
Okay. I walk through.
All right. So everybody passes through without effect, but Berg.
Hold on. Before we do this, I don't know if there's any like sort of like intelligence check or something like that that would allow me or aid me in seeing if this pain is caused by something we're not doing by understanding the riddle, or if there is a riddle. Like, for instance, Vilcor came to know that when his eye has nothing left to see, it is useless. Like maybe Berg crossing the ring with like a blindfold on or something like that would be able to solve this. Like, is there anything that I could do to?
There isn't. Yeah, there isn't like a
puzzle it out?
There isn't like a roll. There isn't like a roll to get past it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cross through. I like it, Berg. Make sure to run through so momentum carries you through and you don't get trapped.
All right.
I got you, Berg. Come to me.
Before he goes, I want to. I have 4 potions of healing. I'm going to give him 1 right now.
Okay. So before you cross through.
Yep. Before I cross through, I give him a potion of healing, and I just pat him on the shoulder and say, "We're here. We're with you."
On the other side. On the other side, the image appears and tells you, Kalimat, there is great strength in numbers, but there is great power in one. For the strength of the will of one may gather numbers to it. There is strength not only in knowing the self, but knowing how to bring it forth in others. And then, Berg, you drink the potion?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is this? 2D? What is it? 2D8?
2d4 plus 2.
2d4. Okay.
Max, what's your
plus?
What's your HP right now with this?
20.
Okay.
29.
Okay.
Okay.
Just make your con save.
Just make your con save. Yeah. Berg is ready to go, and
oh wait, before you go, Berg. Before you go.
God damn it! Every time.
I'm actually going to. I'm gonna like fucking grab his hand.
Yeah, like reach through.
And I'm gonna see if we can go through together, and I'll share the pain or something. I don't fucking know, man.
Okay. Yeah. So you reach out through the field, and Berg, do you take Kalimat's hand and let him like pull you through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before he pulls me through, though, Berg just says,
Morva, Ferro, Urbinduk, Alev, Ukavro.
Which is break free of your binds and live strong.
Right. Yes, of course.
And awesome. I say back in Orcish, I say, endure and become strong. Endure and become strong.
All right. So, Kalimat, can I get you to make make a Constitution save?
You bet. And do I just, saving throws, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, saving throws.
Hey, I'm bypassed too.
All right. So you both take 14 damage.
Oh, we don't split it. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens? Here's what happens. You reach out and you take Berg's hand, and as Berg comes through, you feel his pain. You feel exactly what he feels. There's this like terrible like pain that rips through you, but you feel his strength. And so while you both feel the same suffering, I think you look at Berg and you can see for a moment in his eyes, you're not looking for a minute. You feel like you're not looking at Berg. You're looking at someone else. You've never had this feeling looking at Berg before, but there's just something in his eyes that's like the person that is being punished or whatever is not Berg. Berg is just being forced to deal with that pain. And then so are you. And Berg, you tumble out the other side. The two of you writhing with this pain as it leaves you.
Yeah, I'm just on my knees, and I just start saying, Berg, I'm so sorry, Berg, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Berg helps, like, Berg through his, like, he's like, And then he grabs Kalimat and like lifts him up with his like the strength he has remaining.
I'm getting more and more upset that my friends are having to endure this, so I just turn to the mountain and like my fist tightens. I'm just staring at it.
Like wizards.
Yeah.
So
It's the Simpsons scene all over again.
circle between the fifth and sixth circles is populous in a way that no other circle was. I think at one point on the walk you see a group of strange ungulates, so like deer-like creatures with glowing green fur. They have huge antlers, and their antlers have like eyes growing from them that blink at you as you walk by. The creatures have no eyes in their face. You see a cloud of what look like sort of like plate-sized black manta rays kind of like flutter past you as you walk up the hill, and you're now on like an incline. You've started to ascend the mountain. But yeah, there are strange creatures that populate the ring in this area.
As we're walking in between the two rings, I turn to Kalimat and stride, and you should not help him next time. I do not know if you could live through that. Berg will be fine, but you should be careful, friend.
So you walk up to the to this circle, and there's a bunch of vegetation around. There's to one side there's a cluster of leaves, big thick-leaved plants with these little black like flower buds on them. And I think Ramus, you're the one that notices this. As you approach, the buds start to bloom, the flowers start to open.
Like they're opening as we get close to them.
As
like
you walk
they're reacting to us.
Yeah. Maybe as you notice them, you see them start to unfold and open, and they start to make a faint and quiet noise.
Do you hear that? The flowers, they're making some sort of sound. And if you're familiar with
Still a few
plants,
feet away.
Familiar with what? What was that?
are you familiar with magical plants or something?
Do you just think I'm familiar with anything magical? Is that what it is?
You're the only wizard I have here, okay? It's not my first point. I'm a turtle wizard, okay?
I don't say that. I'll just roll an Arcana check to actually check.
What, that's all you think I'm good for?
Finally a bad roll. I have no idea what that could mean. But if it's anything like anything else in this plane, we should ignore it and just continue on.
Yeah, I mean, so Ramus, you take a closer look at them, I assume, because they're starting to bloom now, and you can't really see them from the distance that you're standing at. Yeah, when you get closer, you can see that the flowers, the inside of them is actually like a tiny little face, and it's they're all the same face, and they're all kind of scowling at you, and you realize it's your face, but rendered in like tiny, and they all start to say like Ramus, Ramus. And they're just making this like horrible little noise at you as you walk up.
Dear God, do you hear? That's the most annoying flower I've ever heard in my life.
I can't seem to hear them. Someone is talking above them. It's just fine. Let's just continue on.
That awful noise.
Nothing is happening. Just move
Ugly.
straight to the mountain, Ramus. Let's move on. Berg needs us.
And as you kind of move away from them and take your attention away, you see them kind of recoil, and the flowers all kind of die and shrivel up, and their petals tumble onto the ground.
Jesus.
Their tiny little dead Ramus faces
up.
kind of fall out of it. Yeah. All right. So you approach the circle, and so you see this one. There's a bunch of like vegetation kind of grown up around it, and the pole has like vines wrapped around it with little blue flowers kind of growing from them.
Okay. I'm getting more and more interested in the things that the pedestals are saying, so I'd touch it or whatever activates these things as I pass by.
Okay. So this time the image is wearing it's girded for war. It's wearing a suit of ornate kind of plate armor made out of some kind of like stony-looking metal, and it has gauntlets on both hands, and the gauntlets have like blades on the knuckles. And he has a pair of short swords tucked in his belt, and he's wearing a circlet with a gemstone in it. And he says, from the first incarnation came the pronouncement of two skies. In the wake of these words came war.
I walk through.
Okay. All right. So you do. And then the others, I guess, Ramus, do you want to pass through as well?
I tell Calamot to go ahead. I want to talk to Berg alone for a second.
All right. Well, I can tell you how it made me feel. And if there's anything you can do to relieve the pain or protect him from it, please, please do it. And I walk through.
Don't worry. Berg.
Okay.
We've been together a long, long time, you and I. You know that I don't like people. They've never been something I care for. But you're an exception. You're one of the few people in this world that I don't want to see die. You're never going to make it to the top of that mountain by yourself. It's not going to happen. But you don't have to worry, because I'm here. You're going to pass through that barrier, and you will probably fade, but I will bring you back on the other side, just like I've always done and always will. Just trust that I will bring you back. We will get through to the top together, and only together, because you will never make this on your own. Now, I'm going across the other side, and if you could kind of get like a run as you go, it would help to get you through the... But I'll be over there, and you will come back, I promise. And I walked to the
Berg looks at
barrier.
Ramus and like puts his hand on his shoulder and is like,
I know.
and then
And
lets him
I
go.
tap your hand just gently, and then kind of, because you're getting dirt on my thing, so I kind of...
Right.
Like, all right, Berg, let's do it.
So you go through, and
Okay.
then Berg backs it up, goes into a full run.
All right. Make that saving throw, Berg.
Nice.
Nice. All right. You take half of 36.
18.
That still puts him
Are you
down.
still up?
So no,
Okay.
that puts him down.
All right.
I had 15 left.
So Berg, as you step through, I think that you have this flash of pain, and it caused you to flash back to being hurt in your past. Only you're in a place you have no context for. You stand atop a step pyramid surrounded by bodies, just corpses all around. Corpses you know to be your friends and companions, dressed in their ceremonial battle garb, their armor and their shield projectors damaged and broken, their weapons scattered around your feet. And you look up and you see the traitor Prince with his spear of silver, and he's plunging it into your chest. And you can see above him the twin suns burning down on you. And the last thought that you have before you pass out is that you wish that you had a chance to see your wife and children one last time before you went into battle. And then you fall to the pile, adding one more body to the corpses at your feet. Everyone else sees Berg pass through the field, shout in pain, fall to his knees, and then collapse.
Not today, Berg.
Mm-hmm.
Grab you and channel the tower to bring you back from the dead with 8 hit points.
Yeah, and I think that as you do, you run over to him and you put your hands on his body, and you channel the power of the fountain into him. And Berg has turned and like fallen, and and I think that you hear him mumble with a voice not entirely his own. Like in the soundtrack, this would be both, like Hitberg's voice and this other voice. And you hear him say in common, "How delicious the waters of the fountain are," and he just mumbles it in this weird doubled voice as you heal him. And as you do, the little sprites that were starting to appear in the air, they vanish, they disappear. They're kind of repelled as you're like, no, he's not dead yet.
And Berg,
Berg's
kind of right now, he like comes back.
You come to, yeah, shocked away.
I told you. We'll get through this together, you and I. Now get your ass up.
And while this is happening, while this is happening, Selihoff, you can hear the words of the projector entity speaking, right? Because it's finishing the story, and it says, his devotion to the people was such that he was willing to protect them from themselves. He knew the masters had come not to know themselves in their obsession with control and domination. So he chose to stop her before she carried the people to their deaths. There must be balance in all things, or else the self will not hold.
Adam, does it look like these pylons or pedestals are sturdy? Like, do they go into the ground, or are they simply sitting on top of it?
Yeah.
They go into it?
Yeah, they seem to emerge from the earth. You can't tell how deep they go.
All right. I once again turn to the mountain. 3 more, friends. 3 more. I continue walking forward.
This was the 6th. There's 2 more.
Oh, there's 2 more? Have we gone through 3?
That was the 6th.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yep.
2 more.
Yeah, 2 more. So the last 2 circles, as you move closer and closer to the mountain, you can see now up on the hill the lights of the sky illuminating not just the mountain itself, but the details of the mountain. You can see its rocky peaks. You can see some crags. You can see up about an hour's walk up the pathway. You can see the seclusium of Utrix of the 7 potencies. It is a hulking building that appears to be built on or encompassing the ruins of another elder building. It is composed, seemingly grown from the mountainside out of strange trees. The trees growing together to form buildings, but in and around those trees, marble architecture. It seems to have grown around this older ruin. There are 4 great plumes of smoke rising from the main building. There's these 4 massive chimneys with smoke rising from them. And then outside, you can see a great stone hearth burning. And you can only see it because it's burning so brightly. And this is all up in this little mountain valley at the end of the road. And so you can see it from where you are now.
Okay. I point to it and say, we're almost there, Berg. 2 more. And he's probably just like absolutely destroyed, like bleeding out of every pore.
Yeah,
on
the
his body.
entire time, like Berg's just sitting there, like you know, like willing himself. You can hear him kind of like trying to psych himself up to keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you continue on, and you reach the ground here has taken on a austere stability. It's rocky and forbidding. There occasionally you'll hear a clattering of rocks, and if you weren't walking up a path that's like zigzagging back and forth, you would have to climb like raw cliff face at this point.
Can we stop at the hearth? Yeah,
it's past the next 2 rings. It's part of the seclusium.
The seclusium, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just saw it because it was like burning really brightly, like we can see it.
Yeah, and you're close enough now that you can see it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Max, what's your HP?
So you
It's 8 right now.
Okay.
I think we make camp here. I know I'm exhausted Berg needs rest. I say you stay here. Get some sleep. Continue on in a little while. What say you?
If you three wish to rest, we certainly can. I will not argue against that. Berg, Ramus, what do the two of you want to do?
Do you mean like a short rest or a very long rest?
I will.
What's the length of this resting period?
I will make us.
How
camp.
long would you like to?
We can rest as long as you want.
Because we have 2 more barriers to go through, and it's going to take. It'd probably be best to rest after we get through the final one, so that way he can rest to full and stay that way.
Well, I'd like him to make it through those 2 rings, if you feel like he can. Or if... why am I asking you, Berg?
He won't, but the tower will make him.
Excuse me. Berg?
We don't even know if we can rest here.
No, that is incorrect. We can, without harm, I can make it happen.
Ramus, what say you?
I'm going to let you choose, buddy. You're the one that's having to deal with all this. If you need to rest, then we will rest.
Well, what? All right. So, Adam, like, they're like crazy. Still, like the spirit shit in the sky is going crazy. Are they like encroaching? Does it say, like, I'm just trying to get an idea of like, is it possible, like, from what Berg can even see right now, like in this area? Because you're talking about all this stuff that's like going crazy and fucked up. And
yeah, you don't feel
feel
safe. You definitely don't feel safe. There are lots of places for malevolent things to hide or sneak up on you. Sully Huffa does have that trick where he can conjure up a magic hut, but you're in a wizard's domain, so
that is true.
knows?
We don't know if it will happen. I haven't casted it here yet, so I don't know if it's gonna occur.
I think then Berg, after just a few beats, is just like,
Sorry, I don't know if your power can match this power.
looking around.
Well,
Oh, thank you, Berg.
I dart my eyes at Ramus and look back. I can certainly try, but again, it's your decision, Berg. As we've all said, this is your doom to endure. We can move forward through the 2 rings or try and take a rest here. You must decide.
We move.
I think Solly really wanted to take a rest because he's feeling really depressed about the whole situation. So my head like drops and there's a sigh. And I turn around and start walking up the cliff.
All right. So you continue up the cliffside and reach fairly quickly the 7th circle. And this circle, you can't even see the ring. You just see on the ground there's a pillar on your path because there's rocks and mountain around you. So you're kind of in a valley, and there's these staggered, strangely geometric shapes that kind of jut up out of the earth on either side of the road. And when you reach it, the only thing that lets you know that you've reached the ring is this pillar.
Okay. It's not necessarily a touch. It's more like a aggressive slap on the pylon. Just like get it over with, and I will walk through as I touch it as well.
Okay. So this time you touch it, the image appears, and it is of the figure again, but dressed in his monk's robes, looking old and sort of tired. And he says quietly this time, All that you have learned and more the people built upon. In time, they came to know the whole. And then, Sully, you pass to the other side.
Yep.
And the spirit says, the seventh lesson teaches us time can be an ally. Patience sharpens even the smallest effort into a weapon that can strike at the heart. Your victories may be small, but over time, a greater victory may be achieved.
Berg, what's your max? What's your max HP?
63.
Okay. Yeah, I figured the overlay was messed up. All right.
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
8 right now, and 63.
Anything to be done before Berg passes the barrier?
I don't turn and watch. I don't want to watch this one. So,
Can't watch, just like wince and look away.
yeah, I've turned around.
Okay.
I'll go last. I'll let him go third. I'll go last. Just to, like, if he keeps coming, we can shove him fucking through if something happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So everyone, I mean, just wait,
Yeah,
wait
you
for
want
me
to
to
make
do con
the,
save.
it's time. Time for the save.
Okay.
Done, buddy.
Nice.
There you go.
23. Nice.
Okay, at least
Okay. You take 17?
17, yeah.
Yep, so he goes down.
So you walk through, and again the field ripples, and this time, Berg, as you roar, as you fall to your knees, the whole thing like shakes, and the mountain like rumbles a little bit, and bits of rock tumble down from above, and we can see the purplish black like lightning kind of leap from him and out onto the barrier, and then he looks up at you for a second, and then tumbles forward and collapses on the ground.
Not
And Ramus,
today.
you're there to pick him up.
Yeah.
All right. So the quiet of the grave is denied to you once again, Berg, as you are resuscitated by the power of your dark patron. And yeah, gasping, shuddering breath. And this time, at least, your death was your own. There was no vision of some other place, only just you tumbling into darkness.
Yeah. Berg again, just
Yeah, and I think at this point, like, it makes sense that you have, like, you probably accumulated, I think, like, whether you want to do like levels of exhaustion or whatever, but you're like staggering. Like, this is Berg, who has like died now twice, and is like staggering forward, barely able to walk. Ramus and Kalimat help you stand, and you continue towards the final threshold.
yeah. Berg's
Is there anything to
lumbering.
be done before you get there?
No, Berg's just lumbering and like wheezing, like.
All right.
Constantly going.
So, as you step towards you wind your way up, and you reach the final ring, and you can see right beyond it there's an open courtyard. You're basically at the front gates of the seclusium, right? Another 10 minutes ahead, and you'll be in the corridor. You can see from here up the way this great burning hearth in the center of the place, and around it several of these wood and marble buildings, and it's all illuminated in this beautiful starlight from above. And you stand at the last of the 8 circles, a single pillar before you.
I think I go and hit the pillar and walk through.
Okay, so when you touch it, it lights. The final ring on the circle lights up, and there's no image this time for you. And you walk through.
Okay. Is there anything that happens on the other side?
Nope.
All right. I think I turn and say, last one, Berg.
Okay. Berg.
So Berg, when you approach, now is Berg the last one through, or Kalimat, are you behind him again?
I'm going to go last again. I'm going to make sure, since nothing happened for Salihafa, I just want to make sure that Berg's hand gets on there because it might just want him.
Okay. So when you walk up, Berg, are you also like touching the pillar, or do you just like walk up to the surface system?
No, the pillar hasn't done anything, so.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, if Berg has the strength to, like, he's doing his best to like he gets a few paces back and then tries to do his best to, like, you know, run. Like he like it's like running, but it's like stumbling and like just looking really pathetic, just trying to like fling himself across with the last bit of might that he has left.
So I will, as you step back and you think about the pain you were about to endure, I mean, you are a barbarian, you are a berserker, right? Like, are you angry that you're being forced to feel all this pain? Do you feel your rage at all, or is it totally subdued?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It might. So let's frame it like this. Like, Berg gets back and he like stumbles and he realizes like he's getting like super like he could just pass out right now and just fall down. He's like,
yeah, I was gonna say there's a moment where you feel like you might not even be able to walk up to the edge of the barrier, let alone like push yourself to get through it.
Yeah. And then he takes a moment to collect himself and he looks down, looks at the barrier, looks down, and then his fists clench and he's like starting to shake. And Berg starts just in his mind, he's like flooded with all the thoughts of all like negative things that have happened to him when he was a slave, his family being murdered, everything that's like that he can conjure up right now just to muster a rage. And he just throws his head back and goes, and then flings himself through.
Throws himself through the barrier. Awesome. All right, make that last save.
Nice.
So you get the save. While you were enraged, this time you take 14, right? But then cut it in half again. You only take 7 because of your rage. And I think this time you make it through alive, right? Like you don't drop this time.
Yeah, you take 7, so you have 1 HP.
Yeah, so you get through with like 1 or 2. And it's like breaking through a wall. And I think that this last barrier, it literally shatters as Berg drives himself through it. And the whole thing, this dome over the Seclusium, just breaks from the point you hit it and starts to fall inwards. And as it does, the shards of sort of glassine structure dissolve in the air and turn into a faint sort of drifting of ash. And as the ash kind of settles on your shoulders, Berg, and as you kind of like feel your rage subsiding, the image appears to you and to all of you, and it delivers the last of the 8 circles, the last lesson. It says to you, Berg, directly, a divided mind is one that cannot know itself. In knowing the self, grow strong. And then it flickers, disappears. And that feels like as good a place as any to draw curtains for the day.
Yeah.
Pretty good one.
That works.
Just a quick cleanup. I don't have any problem getting, since I was the last one.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Everybody is. Yeah, I mean, the barrier's gone now.
It's like, hopefully I didn't get locked out or something.
Yeah.
And no, Kalimat's like, hey, guys, come on.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, Kalimat, you die instantly and horribly in the ion trail that flies behind Berg as he goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah. All right, let's do some shout-outs and go record a Patreon. Dan, let's start with you. Do some shout-outs, please.
Hi, I'm DansGaming, / DansGaming on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, easy to find. Variety streamer, currently playing through Gothic 2. We'll be continuing that tomorrow. This has been a great show. This has been one of my favorite places we've been to so far on the show. So cool, everything that's happening and all the RP between the characters has been great. And I can't wait till next Tuesday.
Awesome stuff. We'll see you then. Zeke, do some shout-outs for us.
Yo, everybody. Zigo the Third here. Want to give a big thank you to Max and Dan and JP and of course Adam for creating this world that I can just lose myself in for 4 hours a week. It's always the highlight of my week, and I mean that. I'm seriously like I just waste time for the rest of the week until I can fucking roleplay again. Variety Caster beyond drop frames tomorrow with Bike Man. Is that right, Bike Man?
Yep, he'll be the guest.
Yep. Bike Man is coming on, and we'll do that. And then after drop frames, I might do like a few hours of more Nox. That's what I'm playing right now, the ARPG from 2000 Westwood Studios, RIP. And then on Thursday, we're doing me and JP, and who else is there for the Game Awards?
Right now it's Strippin'. I'm not sure who else we're going to have for the...
Me, JP, and Strippin' so far for the Game Awards restream. We're going to be just blathering over top of it. So if you like that kind of shit, come and watch. But yeah, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. All the same, Ezekiel_II.
Thanks once again for being here. Max, do some shout outs for us.
GassyMexican, Variety Caster. Also,
Dan, move your mouth.
A lot like Dan now.
Dan, move your mouth.
I have the ability to, take different forms. Yeah, if you want to check me out on any of my stuff, it's on the right there. And I'm the guy who yells. And good episode. Also, I dance, and sometimes I like to, undress myself just for fun. I'll see you guys next time when we talk about the show and the post show.
Good stuff. Yeah. Anyways, no one cares why that's that way. Adam, do some shout outs to close this out.
I would love to. Hello, everybody. My name is Adam Coble. I am the Dungeon Master of this and other role-playing games on the internet that you might enjoy, such as Nebula Jazz, which is like this, but very different. So you can find that here, or you can find me GMing over at Roll20 app on Thursdays and Fridays. But my home is skinnyghost on Twitter and Adam Coble on twitch.tv.
All right, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it for today's episode. We're going to record that video for Patreon. If you want to watch it, it's patreon.com/roleplay. It'll be up later, as well as me and Adam's review of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, because I need to upload that. And we'll be back next Tuesday with more Court of Swords. It's going to be really fun trying to make sure that these two, or at least Berg, doesn't just try to fucking fight this guy after doing all that shit. And also the fact that this is a stealth mission and Berg probably just woke up the entirety of this place. So it'll be a fun next episode regardless of what happens. We'll just have to see where it goes.
For sure.
So that's it. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good week. Bye-bye.